and welcome to Imagine This Stories for Lent. Well, we did it. After today, we will have covered the entire Gospel of Mark. Yesterday, we heard about how Jesus died, and the curtain in the temple was torn from top to bottom. Today, you'll hear the grand finale, the fantastic ending, the reason we can have a future and a hope. It's the reason we celebrate Easter. So sit back, relax, kick off your shoes, and for the next few minutes, imagine this. Jesus was dead. His body hung on the cross. A man named Joseph of Arimathea took a risk and went to Pilate and asked for Jesus' body. Pilate couldn't believe that Jesus was already dead, so he called for the Roman officer to make sure Jesus had died. The officer confirmed, yes, Jesus was dead. So Pilate told Joseph that he could have the body. Joseph brought a long sheet of linen cloth. Then he took Jesus' body down from the cross, wrapped it in the cloth, and laid it in a tomb that had been carved out of rock. Then he rolled a large stone in front of the entrance. Because Jesus had died on a Friday afternoon, burying Jesus had to be done quickly, as the Sabbath would start at sundown. When the Sabbath ended on Saturday evening, some women went out and purchased burial spices so they could anoint Jesus' body. Very early on Sunday morning, just at sunrise, they went to the tomb. As they were walking, they were asking each other, "Who will roll away the stone for us from the entrance to the tomb?" But when they got there, they looked and saw that the stone, which was very large, had already been rolled away. When they entered the tomb, they saw a young man clothed in a white robe sitting on the right side. It was an angel. The women were shocked. But the angel said, "Don't be afraid. You're looking for Jesus of Nazareth, who was crucified. He isn't here. He is risen from the dead. Look, this is where they laid his body. Now go, tell the disciples, including Peter, that Jesus is going ahead of you to Galilee. You will see him there, just as he told you before he died." The women ran from the tomb, kind of freaked out, but they weren't sure they should say anything to anyone because they were really frightened. Jesus, the Messiah, the Son of God who never did anything wrong. Jesus, the man who some people loved and some people hated. Jesus, who died on a cross and was buried, was now alive. This is why we celebrate Easter, to celebrate Jesus dying for our sins and coming back to life. No one is good enough to get into heaven. We all have sinned and done things that displease God, and because of that, we can't be with God. But then God sent his son Jesus. Jesus never sinned. He never did anything wrong. He died. So if we follow him, when God looks at us, he sees Jesus in us and welcomes us into his family and into his presence. Thank you so much for celebrating Lent with me this year. I have had so much fun. I hope you've enjoyed it and learned some things you didn't know before. Before we end, I want to send a huge shout out to my oldest son, Jake, for being the voice of Jesus, and to a bunch of youth at Brandywine Valley Church. You guys were fantastic. Thank you for your help with the voices. And listen, if you want to keep hearing more stories from Imagine This Stories, I release a new longer story every Tuesday. So follow and listen. Have a wonderful Easter. Bye.